Hi guys, this is Irene and these are the US news stories I care about today. I want to talk first about the 8-year-old Guatemalan child. I believe the child's name was Felipe Gomez Alonso that passed away. It's very sad that that child passed away, but honestly, I don't like that they're trying to blame border control and ICE every time one of these kids dies, okay? Especially these so-called migrants that are coming up from Guatemala and Nicaragua. The reality is they took a long and arduous trip. I'm sure they didn't come here in peak health, and it probably wasn't the wisest thing for their parents to pass up a billion other countries on the way to the United States simply because this had to be the country that they got into. All those other peaceful countries, heck, Mexico, they couldn't stay there. No, they had to come to the US. And then the minute their sickly children pass away, we get blamed. I'm kind of over that. I'm pretty sure several American children died on the same day that Felipe did. You know why? Because death knows no age. But I think if the parents were more responsible with their own children and simply did not do dangerous things with their own kids, if they had a plan for coming to the United States, if they properly applied for asylum and didn't travel here in a horde, hoping to break their way in, this could have gone better. But oh no, that would be too much like holding somebody accountable that's not a government agency. So that can't make sense. I feel bad for the kid, but I'm literally over it. And I feel like they're blowing out of proportion the 2 children that have passed. There are 15,000 children in our custody, not counting the migrant so-called children. 2 deaths ain't that bad. I mean, things happen, especially since, again, it's not like these kids are coming here in peak health. If their lives were that great and they were that well off in their own countries, they wouldn't be here in the United States. So we are doing the best we can with the children who have literally been cast off into our hands. With children who have been brought here illegally and whose parents had no plan other than to sneak in illegally into the country. So if we want to hold somebody accountable, let's hold the adults that brought them accountable, not the people trying to clean up the mess that they made. On that note, I want to talk about this whole situation in El Paso. And ICE left, around 200 immigrants that they chose not to deport. I don't know the percentage of them that were illegal, but I think it was pretty high, at a Greyhound bus station, and people are upset because ICE didn't take the time to call the local shelters to take care of these people. And see, herein lies the problem with simply letting people into the country who don't have jobs lined up, who aren't attending school, so they're not funneling any money into our system, and who came here without authorization. We need to be more selective about the people we let in, and we need to stop allowing people to stay who don't belong here. Just point blank. I think this idea that we need to take responsibility because people come here with no plan, no job, no family, no nothing, is pretty lame. It's hard enough for American people to get benefits. It's hard enough for American people to be sheltered in the cold. But to actually think that we have to be accountable, again, for the actions of other people. We have to be accountable for people who aren't even citizens. We have to be accountable for people who choose to come here through nefarious means, but we're the bad guys. Because we created that plan where they came here with nowhere to go. We created that plan where they came here without a job prospect. We created that plan where they came here without any money. That was our job, our idea. That wasn't their idea. It was our idea. Therefore, we're responsible, right? No. Why should ICE have to call and find a place for 200 people to go? And why? I mean, and please, with the huddled masses and poor and all, that's gone and over with. We need to do like every other country. When my son went to Japan, He had to have tens of thousands of dollars and a school to sponsor him. What's wrong with the United States that we can't have a similar policy? What is our country, the garbage dump for the world? No, we should have standards too. And we're not responsible. We have our own poor. We have our own huddled masses to take care of. Can we take care of them? Those 200 beds that they would have taken belong to American citizens that are on the street. And that's not me being mean. That's me saying, look, people, we have our own to care for. If you want to throw your compassion somewhere, throw it that way first. Moving on. Justice Ginsburg. I feel really, really sorry for her. She's at a New York cancer center. She had 2 malignant growths in her left lung taken out. Last month, she cracked 3 ribs when she fell whilst in the Supreme Court. And the Democrats are stalking her like vultures. They are obsessed with this woman either dropping dead or resigning because they cannot stand that most of the seats are held by conservative-leaning justices. It's a little bit creepy, and I just need them to back up off of her a tad bit. I mean, I know that there's a desperation about worry about being able to murder their babies, and they are very concerned of laws being passed that might inhibit their right to do that. But dang, let the woman heal in peace. Stop stalking her. It's very bizarre. In other news, President Trump comes for the Fed. And the stock market crashes. I feel very strongly about the stock market. I feel that the stock market is stupid. I feel it's an opportunity for very, very rich people to flex power. You see, the resources on the earth haven't changed. We haven't had a natural disaster that's wiped out 3/4 of the crop on the planet. The factories that were there on Sunday were there on Monday. Nothing's really changed except for the emotionality of the wealthy people who buy and sell stock en masse on the stock market. And so every time something doesn't go the way that they like, they start selling and selling and selling and throwing tantrums. And then everybody on the news, you know, the news that they own, starts talking about what a disaster it's going to be and how horrible this is and how this has never happened since the Great Depression. If only I could live that kind of life. You know, the life where I throw a tantrum and then indoctrinate people so that they will pander to doing what I want them to do as I'm in the midst of my tantrum. I'm going to need us to stop enabling the wealthy to author our existence. You know what I mean? You know when they have a stockpile of food, but they raise the prices on what's in the grocery store? They'd rather throw it in the trash and watch it go rotten than to let you eat for a reasonable fee. That kind of thing. You know when they sit in their comfortable mansions and fly around in their private helicopters and eat food off of their private farms and then tittle with the stock market because they don't like how somebody looked at them on Thursday? And we're all just going to buy into this? Oh, and then Trump coming for the Fed on Twitter. I mean, I don't like the Fed either. It's all a farce. But as long as we're going to use their fiat money, you might as well kiss their butt or do something real about this situation. I mean, the Fed, the International Monetary Fund, and every billionaire, trillionaire on the planet is in charge of everything. And they just make our lives hell because it just feels like a good idea to them today. That's a bit of a problem. And while Trump is right, the Fed is stupid. I'm going to need him to do more than Twitter about it. Or tweet. Y'all know I'm not on social media. I can't get with these stupid sayings. I mean, Twitter, tweet, it all sounds like chicken talk. Let's see. Last but not least, let's talk about James Mattis and the government shutdown. Maybe I'll talk about the government shutdown later. Let's talk about James Mattis. So he got real flippy in his resignation letter, which Trump didn't read because clearly he didn't care the man was going to resign. But I don't blame Trump for kicking him out early, because he had to go to NATO and speak on our country's behalf after open dissent of the president. And for all those people who are making this like this is a problem, it's not a problem. What is a problem is our political figures need more tact. They need more tact. How are we going to be meeting with NATO and you guys are showing open dissent to the leader of the free world? Explain that to me. See, these people want to destroy the country. That's what I'm talking about. All this anarchy stuff. I said this last time. See, everybody's playing with anarchy. All the peons haven't started playing the anarchy game yet. But all of these talking heads, the politicians, the wealthy, they're on the anarchy bandwagon. They're just doing things that are just absolutely usurping the authority of the government. They just don't care. They just don't care. But let a few peons get a hold of this behavior. You know, some people who don't have access to major news. The regular blow Joe schmo on the street. Let a few thousand of them. 10,000, 20,000. It's not a lot in a country full of millions. You get a hold of this mentality. This, I'm not about to do this with you people who aren't about crap mentality. Then they'll be crying foul and having tanks in the streets. So I don't care that he is out. He needs to be out. And I'm going to need, unless they really want the government to fall, for them to stop toying with the prospect of having the government fall. And that's my news for the day. I'll talk to you guys later.